When I was a child, I remember hearing this story, and I've heard it many times since then, told by different teachers in different ways, but I've always loved it. I heard it in Sunday school, actually, and what the story is, it's about a Sunday school teacher who came into a classroom with all his students sitting there, and they were young children, probably 6, 7, 8, and the teacher produced an apple, just a regular apple. And he showed it to the class, and he said, "Okay, class, I have a question for you. The question is simple. Can you tell me where in this apple is God?" And the children looked a little puzzled and confused. And he said, "There's no right or wrong answer." And he set the apple on a table, and he said, "Okay, tell me where God is in this apple." And one by one, all the children gave him their answer. Little Jimmy said, "Well, God is actually in the tree that grew the apple and nurtures it and sends it off into the world, just like we're children of God." Little Susie said, No, God is in the peel that surrounds the apple and protects the apple inside. God is always protecting us and helping us and shielding us." Another child said, "If you cut the apple open, you'll see, if you cut it in the right way, it'll have a star in the middle, and that's where God is." Another child said, "No, God is the seeds that grows things. That's where God is." And the answers kept coming, and they were all beautiful and fun and gorgeous and correct for each child. Now, the teacher had one special student in his class, Billy, and Billy was always creative in his answers. So he wanted to wait for the very end to ask Billy this question. So at the very end, he went to Billy and said, "Okay, Billy, you're the last one, and I'm really curious. Can you tell me where God is in this apple?" And Billy stood up, and he looked at the class, and he looked at the teacher, and he said, "I will answer your question if you can answer mine." And the teacher thought for a second and said, "Well, that seems fair. Okay, Billy, what's your question?" And Billy looked at the teacher and simply said, "If you can tell me where God is not, I will tell you where he is." The simple truth is we as humans spend all of our lives trying to figure out what God is and where God is and who God is. And to be honest, we really shouldn't be looking for him or her or it at all. Because in truth, it is in all things and everywhere. Science has proven that energy exists in all things, even a rock. And even if you destroy the rock and demolish it and turn it into sand, energy still exists in it. It still exists. All things are made of energy and light and molecules and particles. And even in quantum physics, we have even gone to the part where we can say that it phases in and out of reality. That matter may not exist at all, but the energy still does. You want to know what God is and where God is? Stop looking and live a life. God and creating is in each one of us. In everything we do, in everything we touch, everything we smell, everything that exists. Shakespeare once said, "There are more things in heaven and hell than dreamt of in your philosophies." Why do we have to pigeonhole creating a God? We even give it a name, God. Actually, I looked on the internet, there's over 2,000 different names for God. Goddess, Buddha, the divine beloved, creating, creation, and the list goes on and on and on. I prefer to think of God as creating. Not a creator. A creator implies I've created something and I'm done. Creating is always creating, never stops. Everything around you is always changing. Nothing is the same. No two snowflakes are the same. No two human beings are the same. Nothing is the same. The breath you breathe, the air you take into your body, the fluids that you expel, everything is constantly changing. Your skin, your molecules, your teeth, your body is always growing and changing. Creating is that. It is the universe expanding forever in creating. Where is God? Where isn't God? What is God? What isn't God? What isn't creating? What isn't my beloved?